Hello, and welcome to an exciting episode of the Gateways to Glendale College television show. I'm your host, Deb Kinley, and we're featuring an event called the Makers Faire that took place right here on the GCC campus, hosted by the Society of Hispanic Engineering and Science students. Arriving visitors were welcomed by friendly GCC students and staff and were treated to shirts and lots of great information. Displays on hand included works by the GCC Architecture and Interior Design departments, robotics, machining and manufacturing, steel fabricated arts, and more. And lots of displays were presented by visitors. Let's take a quick look around and hear from Rachel about that very high-tech looking bicycle that she's displaying.
Hi, my name is Rachel Foreman. I'm a senior mechanical engineering student at Cal State Northridge, and I'm part of the Human-Powered Vehicle Senior Design Team. This is last year's vehicle for the 2014-2015 school year. It actually went to the ASME sponsored event in the Bay Area, which they hold every year, and took 6th place overall in competition and 1st in innovation. This year's team has already designed and is currently manufacturing a bike, and we're really looking forward to it, getting some hands-on experience and hopefully kicking some butt at competition.
Thank you, Rachel. That looks like quite a machine, and best of luck in the competition. Speaking of bicycles, let's meet Colin to have him show us the amazing motorcycle that used to be a bicycle before he transformed it right here at GCC.
Hi, my name's Colin Wood. I've been a student at Glendale Community College for I think 3 years now, since the fall of 2013, and I've loved it. I tell you, the machining, engineering, manufacturing program here is top notch. I've visited other institutions and they pale in comparison, you know. This school is just fantastic and close by. This right here is a motor-assisted bicycle or motor-driven cycle. It's a 4-horsepower compressor-style motor. It's a little dirty right now. I've been riding it almost everywhere, you know, and it's a 4-horsepower actually a compressor motor, a 4-stroke compressor motor mounted in a beach cruiser frame with all sorts of custom parts I was able to receive assistance in making here at Glendale Community through the machining and welding programs. So you know, you can see here it's the top of the motor right here is the piston inside there. Then we have a real simple jack shaft setup with a little clutch, and then 2 chains going to a back wheel, and you can still use the pedals on it. You have pedals here and a separate chain on the other side. You can pedal it like a normal bicycle, you know, and then all sorts of disc brakes and little custom parts, you know, everything made here at Glendale Community. Even has a little license plate on it. I had to get it registered. Been learning a lot, been meeting a lot of people. They have quite a few very high-end companies here, like the Foes downhill racing company, and I believe Boeing is also here. And so I figured I'd ride on by and just show everybody this thing and talk about it a little bit.
Well, I think you'd agree that Colin is a very talented young man with a very bright future. It seems that his creation drew quite a crowd, so we'll try to hook up with him again when he's not quite so busy. Let's talk about a display that permanently resides in the architecture department. May I present Jackson, an essential team member involved in the designing and building of the architecture display case.
Hello, my name is Jackson, and I'm the worker for the display case. The display case used to be a telephone booth here, and then we demolished the telephone booth, and then we decided to design a new display case for the architecture department. The display case is used for displaying the models, bringing new information to the public people. The whole display case takes us like a month to finish it. At first, we come up a design in the computer drawing file, and then we buy the 6 pieces of plywood, and then we ask the welding department to help us to cutting the pieces, and then we can assemble it now. So for the whole display case, we set it up like vertically and horizontally. So we have 3 shelves for the models, and then each shelf we have light for lighting up the model. For the light and glass, because we don't know much about this stuff, so we ask somebody to help us to set up the light and also the glass. With the light and glass, the whole display case pops up. I'm so glad that I'm one of the workers to build up the display case, and I'm very happy to be one of the students in the architecture department. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Jackson. We can see that was quite a project. Now let's send it over to Armin in the robotics lab. Armin, go ahead and introduce yourself and show us around.
Hi, my name is Armin Turian. I'm an engineering faculty member here at Glendale Community College. We are standing in our brand new robotics lab. Our robotics program is about 3 years old at this point. We started with an idea that some students came to us and said, we want to build a robotic arm, and kind of morphed from that into this human-sized robotic arm that our first group of students built with guidance from faculty mentors. And then we started adding some classes like an introduction to robotics class and some electronics classes and other types of software and mechanical classes. And we got a corner of a room that we used as a lab for a while to do some projects. And now we have been moving into this room, which is a cutting-edge, fully equipped lab that can handle robotic projects. We have everything from mechanical tools and computer-aided design stations, simulation modeling stations, and to electronics workbenches where we can design and test electronic circuits, and places to write code. And we have a lot of toys that we can use to build all these fun robots, so some of which are next to me here. This one was a 3D printer that our students built from scratch. We bought a kit that they took apart and learned all the things that go into a 3D printer, and then we started designing one. Everything from the mechanical structure to the heat bed to all the electronics were designed and built from scratch, and it turned into a real working product. And that's really what we're trying to do here in this lab, is teach the end-to-end design of engineering, how you go about from developing a concept to making that a reality and all the stages in between. And it's as much about systems engineering as it is about learning the actual disciplines, like, for example, mechanical or programming. We're trying to get students to communicate with each other, understand how to present their ideas, how to communicate with their customer, how to work together as teams, define interfaces so that their parts work together when they get to the stage where they're all going together, and do real engineering projects where they start with an idea and end up with an actual working product. And we like calling this our little startup environment, because taking these classes, especially the capstone class, is really like being in a startup company. Have a bunch of students with very little background and experience, and with the mentors guiding them, they're able to see their ideas come to life.
Thank you, Armin. It's very clear that amazing things are happening right here at GCC. Let's head inside the auditorium, where visitors got to hear from keynote speakers and others who were essential to the producing of this event.
Okay, hello. I want to thank all of you for being here at our first annual Maker Faire. We have one lesson learned already from this event. Do not put the exhibits on the way to the auditorium for the keynote. So, sorry. We'll try and get you guys out of here and back up to the exhibits and checking out all the cool stuff that's up there. But I just wanted to say a few words. First, I want to say thank you to Glendale College for supporting everything we've been doing. Our president, Dr. David Vyar, is here personally and offering support. And the school has been really supportive of developing a robotics program that we've been establishing the last 3 years, which is kind of an experiment in experiential learning, hands-on learning, and converting classes to project-based classes where students really get to experience the design process, the manufacture process, and all the cool stuff, the fun stuff, in addition to all the math and science. So we have a set of classes set up now that range from intro to robotics all the way to a capstone class where students spend 1 year working in a pretty large team developing a complex system. And we are now in the process of revamping the entire engineering program, including civil engineering, computer engineering, hopefully are on the horizon, and developing that into a series of coherent certificates and transfer associate's degrees and things like that. So we already have a really good manufacturing program here and engineering support program. There's a wide variety of classes, and everyone has been very supportive, and so it's a really exciting time to be at GCC. Also, let me thank a couple other people, Dr. Richard Cortez from the counseling department for a lot of hard work putting this event together, and our deans, Jan Swinton, the division chair, Scott Rupke, and Victor Castellanos for a lot of hard work coordinating and helping us make this reality. And also the SHIP organization, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. A lot of the students that prepared this event are SHIP members, and in a minute we're going to hear from the SHIP regional student representative. His name is Anthony Becerril.
Oh man. All right, so it's Saturday, and I understand that it's early, and some people didn't want to be here, but I hope that I can take your attention and make it worth your time. So I'll start out by introducing myself. My name is Anthony Paul Becerril. I'm an electrical engineering student at Long Beach State. I am currently in my 5th year, going into my 6th. I'm pretty much done though, I swear. I'm a super senior, but I'm right there. And so I actually am the regional student representative for SHIP. So SHIP is actually a national organization. It's split into 7 regions. And so I'm part of Region 2, which is Southern California, Arizona, as well as Las Vegas. So anything within that region in terms of student chapters eventually go through me, and they talk to me and I represent them and things of that nature. So, but I'm here to speak on behalf of SHIP. So like you mentioned, people who don't know, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers is a pretty big deal. So we have shirts, we're pretty official, and it's a great organization to be a part of. I'm actually very grateful to be in this position to not only give the speech, but speak on behalf of SHIP and what it's all about. But not to get too much into it, but I will mention that the mission of SHIP, the first 3 words are that SHIP changes lives. So that's kind of going to be my message today, and making sure that I stay along those lines. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and where I come from. Both my parents were born in Mexico, so I am a first-generation student. But I also feel like I was born in Mexico. So even though I wasn't born there, I claim that I'm from there. And how do I do that? But because you don't have to be born in Mexico to be from there. And what I'm trying to get at with that is the same thing with STEM. Like all of my background, you go through the whole, other than my dad, like there is no STEM. Like there's no origin or history. And so my dad's an electrician, that's all I got. But I didn't necessarily need that to end up here. Like you don't need to have a dad or a cousin in engineering or have that one guy who works at JPL. Like it's nice, but it's not necessary. You don't need that. As long as you have an opportunity to see STEM and that you love it, that's enough. So going back to what this event is all about, like this is all about changing lives. This event today, the Makers Faire, is about giving people the opportunity to learn what STEM's all about. Because some people don't have that. Some people didn't grow up saying, hey, you know what, here's STEM, here's STEM. No, they grew up saying like, oh, here's video games, here's, MTV, here's, and sometimes that's not exactly what we're trying to go for here. But the whole point of this event is exposure. And so I want to take this time to give thanks to Jose and Fernando for putting this stuff together. It took a lot to put all this together and get teams going. So a quick, because they definitely put in a lot of work for this. And like they said, it's their first time, they're still learning, but trust me, guys, you guys did a great job, and it's only the beginning, so stop stressing, please. Smile. And so going back to all of this is an opportunity, and it should be taken seriously. So this opportunity doesn't come for everybody. I have a nephew of 10 years old, and growing up, I expose him to all kinds of things. Like Boeing gives out stickers, I give him stickers. JPL has, little, cup holders, whatever. Let me give it to him, because that exposure, believe it or not, is already just the beginning of that very, very serious opportunity, because I had an opportunity at a young age where I got to pursue STEM. I got to go to a college preparatory high school, and I took those opportunities. Yeah, I got kind of lucky because they lined up, but the fact that they lined up and I took advantage of it like this, it took a little bit extra. And I'm here to kind of help you guys see that and making sure that you guys realize when you guys have kids or friends that want to do this, that you guys are extra supportive, because it's not easy. Nothing in life that you do is easy. So when you talk about all these things, make sure that you realize that I'm just here as an example. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about you guys and the difference that you guys can make and how you guys can change lives, like Jose and Fernando and companies like Boeing and JP, how they change lives. That's what this is all about. So even though, it's Saturday morning and it's like, I had to get up early and get out here, I put this time for you guys, and you guys are going to put this time for someone else, and make sure you guys keep that in mind. So nothing in life is easy. Don't let go of your dreams. John Lennon once said that he believes in unicorns and fairy tales and all these things. And it's like, why? And it's like, well, until they're disproved in this world that we live in, I'm going to believe that they're real. And so don't let the dreams only happen when you go to sleep. You can dream when you're awake, in case you didn't know that. So I've been dreaming for the last 8 years, and I've come a long way, and I still can't believe it. Like I tell my dad, I fell for graduation today. And I just stand there like I did that. Like I'm this close. I'm this close to graduating. I can't believe it. And to some people it's not a big deal, but to me it is. And when you guys go out there and change someone's life, you might think all I did was give them a sticker or my attention. It's going to be a big deal, trust me. So I hope you keep that in mind as you enjoy the event. Make sure that you're here to give the true gift of giving with nothing in return as your expectation, and that you change lives through STEM. So again, this event is free. Enjoy it. Like down to the lunch, you guys are getting in and out for free. I'm looking forward to that. Keep that in mind. And feel free to approach me for any questions, and you guys have a nice day. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker now, Gabriel Rangel. He works at the Jet Propulsion Lab, and he's going to give us a presentation.
Good early morning. I woke up early. I stayed up all night, actually. That's a trick, too. But thanks for inviting and reaching out. We're your neighbors just, up the hill at JPL. My name's Gabriel. Really nice to meet you. We're going to spend a couple of minutes today. There's a couple of things I wanted to cover. One is I wanted to tell you about some other upcoming events that you can participate in that are related and will get you more connected to NASA. You're going to be experienced. How many people here in the room are actually have something entered in this afternoon into the fair? Or is everybody over there? Are there a few people in here? All right, cool. A couple of teams, and the rest are active observers, participants, and stuff like that. I know there's a couple. How many have been to a hackathon or a maker fair before? Okay, just a couple. Good. So this is a good first experience for a lot of us. So I'm happy to share that with you. And again, talk in the future about how we can get connected to other ones. And then also another thing we're going to talk about is we'll actually do another first experience, which is look around Mars. Unless a few of you have looked around Mars before. We've had some of those. A couple of people looked around Mars before. Okay, that's possible, but again, another first for us is we'll be able to take a 360-degree look around Mars in a little bit. Then there was also a couple of questions. I got a chance to talk to a couple of folks before. One of the questions was, how do I learn about more maker fairs? This is the first one, fantastic. Again, congratulations on putting this on. But again, how do I get connected with more? So we'll address that, especially in this local area in Southern California. How do I connect school and what I'm doing here and kind of this type of experience and connect that to my job field? That's obviously a very pragmatic and good question. I'm sure something that's on everybody's mind. And also, how do you translate your degree? How does a degree translate into real world experience? So I might, there's several specialties, but does that translate to now you can only pick certain types of jobs? What does that mean? So I'll try to address that as well. But I think the first thing we'll do is take a look at kind of the future. So let me see if I can get here and how safe this will be. So this should make everybody feel better. Keep this in mind when you watch maybe some of the demos you're going to see.
Can you show us some of of Alpha 2's moves, perhaps? Like, what are some of the things he can do?
All right, so this little guy's going to do a couple of things for us.
I'll tell you something just real quick. First of all, this is a global stage of innovation. It's the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, happens every year. It's now put on by the Consumer Technology Association. So touching on something else that you said about the possibilities of connecting different technologies and domains, here's the world stage. And kudos to the future of robotics and what we can do here.
Okay, his name's Alpha, so I always start off by saying, hello, Alpha. And can you show me a yoga pose? Hello, Alpha. Can you show me a yoga pose? Come on, buddy.
I know it's a little loud in here.
We're in a really, really crazy environment right now. I think he's a little TV shocked, I think. But
we have some footage online from what you have on YouTube already. Oh, there he goes.
So this is... He's going to do a little dance step for us here. He's a little starstruck, I think. Buddy.
There's a lot going into this robot.
Hey, bud.
Yeah, a little too much to drink last night.
Yeah.
Maybe. It is Vegas, after all.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's enough, bud.
You have to... you know what? While he grooves out, I have a couple questions too.
There you go.
I want to know, you pumped a lot into this guy, and we can even show.
All right. But it's fun. You're trying new things. We really just, one of the themes that came across loud and clear this year, in addition to this, was robotics, and the future that we've thought about or seen is really here. The difference is the tools are in your hands. And those tools are anything from your laptop and keyboard, if you're somebody who enjoys writing code and using code to manipulate or make objects, make the web come alive. If you like scripting and like using some scripts and say, how can I make now robotics move and all those pieces? If your tool is a dry erase marker or a pencil, and you say, well, wait, this whole thing is so confusing. You're telling me in order to control what you're showing me, and it's super cool, has, click here and there and there. What if, and by pencil, you're drawing out and saying, well, what if I can just swipe or speak to it or tap it and touch it? All of those things. So whatever your tool is, you're really in control of making our past vision of the future a reality. A lot of technological advances have occurred and have integrated at our time, so we're living in a time when you can do electronics without soldering. You can prototype very quickly with magnetic prototypes. You can do this at 4 years old. There's games for 4-year-olds that'll teach you how to code. A call to just all of our students here, not just gender specific, but absolutely we can always use more diversity in just our environment here. So if you look around and see that it's a bit imbalanced, then see how you can do and how you can connect that. And there's a lot of areas where we can do that. But the thing is, whatever your tools are, you can create that, that reality. So another example I'm going to show you is some students we got to work with last year. Okay, so I'm going to go to Space Apps is another thing that hopefully you can remember. So NASA Space Apps is what we'll search for. And NASA Space Apps is, this year, 2016, is actually NASA's 5th year doing it. Space Apps is a global hackathon that is sponsored by NASA's Open Innovation Program and the Science Mission Technology Directive. The past 2 years, the main stage has been in New York City. This year, and it's occurring at the end of April, the main stage is going to be in Pasadena, California. So that's something that absolutely we want to take advantage of. So if you're really interested about getting involved, then please see me after. I'll be around and we'll talk about that. But remember NASA Space Apps and search for that. There will be more content coming online. But what Space Apps is, and we'll actually go ahead and look around here, there's several categories of challenges that NASA puts out. So in the past, we've had challenges related to asteroids. Last year was the first year that we actually added 3D printing as a category. So just the whole hackathon maker community has evolved to now include, which is what this community is doing, is the hardware side of things. We've evolved from just apps to now being able to have apps control things. So last year we added 3D printing and food in space. So the idea is everybody has the opportunity to participate. You could have a host your own event around the world. The winners last year were actually from Eastern Europe. There are some folks in Guatemala that produce some fantastic things. It's open to anyone. And actually second place that came in happened to be from Pasadena. So we'll find that video right now and show you what they did. But the main thing is you now, after this day, are experienced to know, or you will be, as to what goes on in these types of events and just how quickly you can go from an idea to a prototype. And then the power is not going from idea to prototype to then an actual product, but really the idea and the process and learning of going from idea to prototype, learn from what you did, and go back and rebuild and iterate, and then go again, and get in the process of failing faster or trying more things. And that's the whole process, and that's the environment, the accelerated environment that we're in because of rapid prototyping. So I'm excited to see and tour some of your facilities after, but the fact that you really now aren't needing access to high-end facilities. You might be able to create your next product from Staples or Kinko's. And that'll be good. So hopefully, if you're interested in any of these things, these are the concepts that go out. And the idea is if you make an app or a product, it could find its way up to space station if it's something. So there's a direct relationships with the astronauts and space station program. So NASA Space Apps is something that we definitely want to take advantage of that's here. So last year, it was over 133 locations, almost 1,000 projects. Hopefully we'll be able to make that, push over the 1,000 project mark. It is going to be at Cross Campus in Old Town Pasadena. So again, there's going to be more information coming out. They'll be releasing 30 days before the challenge or before the event. They'll be releasing what the challenges are. So you'll have some time to actually think about, okay, do I want to step into 3D printing? Now you could watch a couple of videos on Shapeways, which is a service that helps you print, they'll help print your own 3D prints. And just tutorials there will help you learn how possible and how easy it is to go from sketching an object to translating that to very simple CAD modeling to then a prototype. So with just that simple understanding and the experience of what you'll see later today, you could come with an idea that really could get to the next iteration and start to learn from it. So that's really where that magic happens. So from Space Apps here, we can go through and look at some of them. I'm going to go ahead and search. I think I could search. All right, so I owe you a video about AstroGrow to see just how quickly you can prototype some solutions. But another new thing, and something that we saw, and another technology that's emerging that you might start to take advantage of, is looking at the fact of, in this maker community, we've taken advantage of consumer sensors, whether it's a moisture sensor, a light sensor, a sound sensor. There's a lot of things that you can do. Who knows obviously, well, we all have something that we hold with us all the time that has tons of sensors, and that's our phone. We collect tons of data. How many of you use Waze or take any cues from Google Maps or things like that? They're using machine learning and everything. We're using the sensors that we have, data anonymized. Hopefully they tell us that it is. And we're getting these new experiences. It's the crowdsourcing of the data because of these sensors. So what else is the most common sensor that we have and use in this Instagram, Snapchat world of ours? It's the camera. Right, the camera. And when you go through and take pictures and everything, pinch to zoom has been a fantastic capability and behavior. We've actually been able to take advantage of that and use that capability where we assemble spacecraft. So instead of bringing paper into a clean room, we have a large touchscreen, we could pinch to zoom. That capability gives our mechanical engineers the ability to see much better than with their own eyes, obviously, how to assemble the spacecraft. We're then learning from that and adding things like HoloLens and holograms as technologies to aid into that. So all of this is in an aid to achieve what our core mission is, which is to explore the unmanned exploration of our solar system. So when we look at Mars and take pictures, now what do we naturally want to do? We want to start to look around. So how many of you have experienced like an Oculus Rift or something like that, or seen videos of that? Okay, so a couple of you. So what we're going to do is look now on YouTube. Are you familiar with the JPL YouTube channel? If not, there's a lot of good content that we're adding. There's actually a series on there called, I believe, Extreme Engineering, hosted by one of our engineers, Mike Meacham. And it'll take you through, and one of the newest episodes is about CubeSats. CubeSats are very small satellites, actually are very popular in universities, and we're using them. We're actually created one that will go to Mars and help with advancing the network that we have up there and relaying communication. So there's a lot of actually really good content that's now available on the JPL YouTube channel. But one of the newest additions is this 360 video. So I'm going to play it, but now in the Chrome browser, I can go through and actually look around. So just a simple click and drag, I can go and really just look at this 360 environment and see what it's like there. And this is something that was first achieved a few years ago when VR started to get popular in the development kits for the Oculus Rift. Since then, that experience, that bringing on these new capabilities for the mission operations planning, that team has really advanced that capability, and they're using HoloLens. If there's folks in the room that are associated with like the gaming environment and things like that, that really, or if you have friends that do that, that really could add and bring to life some of your robotics. So in this case, here's an example of the way we have a great group, world's smartest engineers, just up the hill that have created, just the coolest Martian science laboratory that's available, and they were able to get it over there and pinpoint accuracy. And then there's a bunch of other people on the same campus, their friends, that are trying to help and say, well, how can we get our mission operations, their drivers, to be able to communicate with this distance and with this machine? Well, their friends are using video games to be able to do that. So everything from Kinect that's evolved to gesture computing and things like that. If you stay in this maker community, you'll become familiar with Intel's RealSense and how augmented reality is really evolving very quickly. And using these concepts to be able to help and direct and navigate the science laboratories. So these concepts are then being used in our next missions. So another thing that we picked up that's cool, okay, so here's that. So if you don't have an Oculus Rift, how many of you have heard of Google Cardboard? A couple. So what Google Cardboard is essentially a little cardboard box with some lenses that you could use, and instead of using optics in a VR headset, you're using your phone as a screen. We were able to recently find and come across kind of, I guess, so far, the smallest VR glasses, which are foldable. And as you unfold, clip it on your screen, and you're able to go through. So we'll be able to look at Mars after in this kind of environment, but it goes back to the point about we've had some of this content. We've been on Mars for over a decade and been able to take pictures. Now we're able to use technology to create these new experiences. The pictures that we've taken individually one at a time have been stitched together. Now it's as easy on YouTube. Now you don't need some high-end multi-$1,000 virtual reality kit. You can find something for under $10 to be able to add to a basic phone, and you have that experience. Those are the tools that you have, and that's how quickly that it advances. So the AstroGrow team actually took advantage of that, and hopefully we'll have a link. There we go. So the other trick, if you're going to continue to be engaged in the maker hacker community, is also make friends with people that go to film school to help sell your idea. That's really important. I'll leave you with a couple of other resources. NASA 3D is one that you could look up. And what we have there, this is starting to converge into your environment. Started with gaming kind of content. So if you're working in a gaming environment, you can take models of spacecraft. We've added 3D printing as well with some of the models. So one of the ones that we added on the anniversary of the Curiosity landing last August was if you have access to a 3D printer, you're just looking or getting engaged, we have a model of Curiosity. We also have a couple of other spacecraft. You could print slices of the moon. There is Mars Trek. Trek.jpl.nasa.gov, I believe. And Mars Trek, you could go in and explore the different 3D tools we'll skip the tour right now. Take the tour, you can browse through and explore the different areas of interest of Mars immersively. You can then kind of tag a section if you wanted and print that also, or create a 3D printable file as you're going through. So again, these are just, they're small steps in being able to take our content and give you different ways to look at that. In fact, some 3D printed pieces of the moon have been used for NASA programs with the vision impaired so that they could feel what that is like, and another way to translate concepts. People are then getting really experiential with what you can do with additive manufacturing, multi-materials. There's just a lot there. So the main thing is, we appreciate SHIP's slogan of change lives. The director at JPL, Charles Alachi, who's really taking us to Mars and beyond the solar system. And in addition to that, if you're not aware, at JPL, we have a very strong Earth science program that's constantly collecting, more data that's ever been collected related to the Earth and our environment and the climate, which is really important. But the slogan that he likes to say is "Dare mighty things," and that's exactly what you're doing. And pass that along. Keep that in mind for the folks on the other end of the table when they're presenting their projects and ideas. It takes a lot to just put yourself out there. So, they deserve a lot of kudos in doing that, as well as you guys for, again, kicking off the inaugural event and everything. So I was really happy to be here, and hopefully we can chat after. So thanks.
All right, so thank you, Gabriel, for being here. Thank you, Anthony, for the speech. At this time, we're going to be separating two workshops. You guys can follow on glendale.edu/ship. So, we're going to be separating two workshops. We're going to have Boeing career opportunities, and thank you, Boeing, for being here. Thank you, Oscar, and your team. Fernando, if you can please stand. He's going to be guiding us to whoever signed up for the Boeing workshop. He's going to be guiding you to the room. We're also in that direction is going to be the Robotics Academy and Machine Shop tour. There, you guys are going to get a chance to see what we're doing here at Glendale Community College. The projects our students are working on, the things we're building from scratch. Our machine shop. You guys are going to get to see a car rim that was manufactured here. The car rims that go on a Ferrari and a Porsche, and hope you guys enjoy that. So if at this time Fernando can please take those people who registered for and if you didn't register, you can still follow at this time, and Oscar and your team. And then we're also going to be having, for those who want to build their watch and solder, the College of the Canyons is going to be hosting that workshop. So if you guys can please stand, and thank you guys for being here. They know where to take you guys. We're also going to be having a build your motor and workshop. So those I can take you guys there, but please feel free to follow. If you don't have to register at check-in for those workshops. And then afterwards, after these workshops are done, we're going to be having the project exhibits. At 12 is lunchtime, so please hold on to your tickets. And I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.
Well, it's been quite a day here at the GCC Makers Faire 2016, and we're so glad you joined us. For any information about what you saw here today, or for that matter, for any information about GCC, please contact us at 818-240-1000 or visit us online at www.glendale.edu. And don't forget to visit us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And we'll see you next time on the Gateways to Glendale College television show.